Power has a pulse. Julius Caesar felt it first in the fever dreams of his youth, throbbing beneath the marble skin of Rome like a promise waiting to be kept. He would spend his life chasing that rhythm, until the day it synchronized with his own heartbeat, and then stopped altogether. Some men climb to power, others are born to it. Caesar did both, and then invented new ways of ascending altogether. Born into nobility, but not extraordinary wealth, he understood early that Rome was not just a city of stone and law, but a living organism that could be seduced, manipulated, and ultimately possessed by anyone who understood its true nature. Modern psychological profiles might label him a high-functioning sociopath with narcissistic tendencies, but such clinical terms fail to capture the full complexity of a man who could weep over Pompey's severed head while orchestrating the deaths of thousands. He was a contradiction wrapped in purple robes, a populist aristocrat, a merciful conqueror, a dictator who defended the Republic by destroying it. Men willingly believe what they wish to believe, he wrote in his commentaries. The words reveal both his insight into human nature and his talent for exploiting it. Every victory, every conquest, every political maneuver was accompanied by a carefully crafted narrative that made the unprecedented seem inevitable. The historical record paints him in broad strokes: his conquest of Gaul, his civil war against Pompey, his romances with Cleopatra and others, his eventual assassination. But between these lines lies a more nuanced portrait, a man who understood that power was not just about force, but about perception, not just about winning, but about making victory seem preordained. His early life shaped him in ways that would echo through history. The loss of his father at 16, his near execution during Sulla's proscriptions, his capture by pirates. Each event seemed to harden something within him while sharpening his understanding of power's true nature. When he crucified those same pirates who had held him captive, it was not mere revenge, but a message written in blood. Caesar's mercy had limits, and his memory was long. Experience is the teacher of all things, he wrote, but what his experience taught him was that Rome's traditional power structures were more fragile than anyone realized. The Senate, the courts, the sacred boundaries between civil and military authority, all could be reshaped by someone bold enough to imagine a different order. His military campaigns in Gaul revealed another facet of his character, a combination of ruthlessness and clemency that would become his trademark. He could order the hands of thousands of defeated warriors cut off one day, then adopt their chiefs into Roman citizenship the next. Each act of brutality was balanced by a gesture of magnanimity, creating a complex web of fear and gratitude that bound conquered peoples to his person rather than to Rome itself. The civil war that made him master of Rome was not just a military conflict, but a psychological operation of unprecedented scale. By presenting himself as the defender of Roman traditions while systematically dismantling them, he created a narrative so compelling that even his enemies found themselves playing parts in his script. His relationship with Cleopatra was both political alliance and psychological mirror, two masters of manipulation, recognizing in each other a reflection of their own ambitions. Their romance reshaped the Mediterranean world while producing a son who would never inherit either parent's empire. The famous crossing of the Rubicon illustrated his genius for turning points of no return into theatrical triumphs. "The die is cast," he allegedly declared, transforming an act of treason into a moment of destiny. It was classic Caesar, making the unthinkable not just acceptable, but seemingly inevitable. His assassination revealed the final irony of his life, that in making himself indispensable to Rome, he had made Rome incapable of surviving without him. The conspirators, who claimed to be saving the Republic, succeeded only in guaranteeing its final transformation into an empire. Modern historians debate whether he was truly epileptic, but his reported seizures add another layer to his psychological profile. A man whose body could betray him at any moment, perhaps driving him to assert control over everything else within his reach. His documented episodes often came at moments of high stress, suggesting a physical manifestation of the pressure he lived under. The psychological burden of being Caesar must have been enormous. Every decision, every relationship, every casual word was scrutinized for meaning and portent. He lived in a world where privacy was impossible and paranoia was prudent. His famous ability to dictate multiple letters simultaneously while conducting other business might have been less about efficiency than about never being alone with his thoughts. The Rome he left behind was like a mirror shattered by a stone. The pieces would never fit together again in quite the same way. His adopted heir Octavian would rebuild it into something new, something that would last centuries longer than Caesar's own brief reign, but it would never again be the Republic that Caesar claimed to have been defending. His last words remain disputed. Shakespeare gave him et tu, Brute, but historical sources suggest he died without speaking, pulling his toga over his face in a final gesture of dignity. Perhaps both versions hold truth, the man of action meeting death in silence, while the legend continues speaking to us across millennia. The psychic wound of Caesar's death never quite healed in Rome's collective consciousness. He became something more than a man, but less than a god, a cautionary tale and an inspiration, a hero and a tyrant, a savior and a destroyer. His ghost haunted every emperor who followed, every would-be reformer who dreamed of reshaping society, every leader who had to balance power with principle. In the end, Caesar's greatest conquest was not of territories, but of time itself. He reshaped the calendar, giving us the months and rhythms we still live by. It was perhaps his most characteristic act, imposing his will not just on space, but on time itself, making even the ways we measure our days a legacy of his ambition.